shoot a gun, but
Anyhow. Are we ready for this?
we are.
All right. Katie's
Katie
getting
sounds
fucking
ready.
ready. It's May 15th, 2023. And these are your Fortean Files. I didn't test the soundboard, so this should be good.
We'll see.
So I asked one Phil Polling Steve for a new news bumper because I actually lost the old one. I'd have to go like rip it out of an old show that's where the audio's clean and none of us have said anything in order to get a copy of it, right? So I messaged him and I was like, hey, could you use a new news theme? And he's like, yeah, I don't do that anymore.
You have to go Google Kevin MacLeod again and
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, I don't know who this one's through. It's one of the YouTube ones that was out there that I wound up grabbing. But welcome to the show, one Steve Alcorn, former co-host of the Fortean Slip, joining us tonight for a very special episode of the Fortean Files. With me, as always, my co-host, KT, who could not be on camera again this week. We're having some internet technical difficulties with her setup, so we're trying to get that rectified so she can be back on camera so y'all can see her lovely face. Yeah, another week, another fun time on planet Earth. So because I have all kinds of shit going on, and I check Facebook because I'm on there quite a bit, but mostly for my Facebook pages, for the like pages or whatnot. I missed Fred Dunn's post about the fact that he has pancreatic cancer. So I instantly reached out to him and I was like, dude, what the fuck? And he was like, yeah, I'm just kind of still letting it sink in, etc., etc. So I reached out to his wife, Desiree. So for those of you who don't know, Fred Dunn, the artwork that you see behind me was done by Fred. The original Cryptids Playing Poker artwork was done by Fred. The old artwork for the Fortean Slip show was done by Fred. Fred did all of our artwork. Everything. Shit tons of it. For nothing. Stuff. Like literally for nothing. He was a good friend of the show. He liked what we were doing. And right off the bat, I had reached out to him when I was starting doing stuff. And I asked him if he would mind doing something. And he said no. He's like, I like a good challenge. That sounds fun. And he did, I believe the first thing that he did for me was the Cryptids Playing Poker.
Still my favorite.
And then I had asked him, because I was going to do the Bigfoot bedtime stories, which wound up becoming just the Fortean Slip bedtime stories. The image of the Bigfoot with the baby Bigfoot in its lap with the book. And I was able to superimpose that over different shit. And just so many different images that he did for us and for me personally. Like the one that's behind me, he did for me personally for the Daily Dose, which actually he co-hosted with me for a good amount of time. Fred's been ingrained in what we did as a show, as the Fortean Slip, forever. I mean, we've had him on as a guest multiple times. So I heard all this. I reached out to Desiree and I said, what do you need? What can we do? Because I imagine that Fred's not working currently, or if so, like it's slowed down quite a bit. He's going through treatment, and she said that the costs of everything is what's fucking killing him. So I said, well, let me rally the troops and see what I can do. So I instantly got in touch with Steve as soon as I knew what was going on and decided to do something. And asked him if he would reach out to Matt. Because I wanted to do a coordinated type of effort to promote some type of a way to donate money to the Dunn family. So initially I was going to try to set up a GoFundMe, or I asked Desiree to set up a GoFundMe. Now, she's going through a lot. She's like, listen, I'm beside myself right now. And I'm like, okay, don't worry about it. I got you. I'll take care of you. So I tried to set it up myself. Well, you can't set up a GoFundMe in the U.S. and send the funds to somebody in Canada. So I didn't want to set up the GoFundMe in my name. So I just scrapped that idea. And I said, do you have PayPal or Venmo or anything like that? And she's like, we got PayPal. No Venmo. So I figured PayPal is the easiest way to do it. There is a fee. It's a small fee. I got charged. I did a test to send her like $5 just to make sure. Believe me, that's not all I'm doing for them. Don't want anybody to think I'm fucking chinsing out. And there was
if you send it friends and family, there shouldn't be a fee.
It's 99 cents. It's because you're sending it to Canada, I do believe.
Okay, that's what
I believe that's why. If you send it through your debit card, it's like $1 something. And if you send it through your bank, routed, it's 99 cents. So, so this is what I'm going to say to everybody. Do whatever you can. Any amount is going to be helpful for them. I am going to be promoting this for a good amount of time. It will be going on to the like page. I will be doing a write-up at some point tonight. Steve can pass along this information to Matt so that Matt can promote it on, I'm hoping, on his show as well as his like page. Matt's got a pretty decent reach with his Bigfoot Crossroads, I think it is, he does now.
Yeah, still Bigfoot Crossroads, yeah.
Yeah, because I did watch that show that you did with him and Calls. What was that? Hairy Man, Hoodwinks, and Hoaxes?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I did watch that show. Now, here is my critique, Steve, of said show. If you're going to tell a story...
I don't tell stories good.
Tell a story historically accurate, okay?
Oh, I'm sure I had.
First of all...
I couldn't remember half of it.
First of all, the story goes you came to me and Matt with this thing. Okay, the whole Norm Glasser photo. And yeah, and I was instantly like, yeah, okay.
That is true.
I'm like, this is fucking horse shit. So I just fucking was like, Steve, have at, buddy.
I knew you knew it was horse shit at the beginning.
So the way I looked,
I may have downplayed that part on that show. I didn't mention that. Yeah.
I'll never forget when we finally called out the hoax, the show that we did. I was like, yep, and I just gave Steve all the rope he needed.
Those shows are still available. My channel's gone. So the original Norm Glasser interview is gone.
Oh, it is.
Lost the history. Oh yeah, I might have it on a hard drive around here somewhere, but who knows? But yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah, Steve's gonna reach out to Matt and we're gonna try to coordinate this. I've got a few other people that I know that have fairly large like pages that I am reaching out to have them share this stuff around as well. I want to get it to as many eyeballs as possible. Fred is good people. I mean, that's all there is to it. He didn't have to do any of this stuff for us when we started out. He just did. And I've constantly tried to promote him. When he finally started getting solid work from, who was it, the Bob Gimlin guy on YouTube?
Yeah.
I couldn't have been more happy for him. When he started getting like solid commission work, I was over elated that he was actually getting paid to do this thing that he loved and loves, you know.
He did a really nice commission piece for my wife and I. Picture, the pencil drawing of me and her.
Mm-hmm.
So, very nice.
Yeah, he's done a lot of shit,
and he didn't charge nearly enough to do that for me.
Yeah,
not for you guys could see the level of quality in his artwork.
You'll have to tell me after the show. Don't tell me on air.
Not that kind of picture.
No. I mean, what he charged you for it, you dumbass.
Oh, it wasn't. I didn't know what the hell you were talking about. You know me, I'm silly.
Holy shit!
That was fun.
It wasn't enough. Not even close to enough. It was about a third of what I expected to pay.
Oh, I've missed you, Steve.
Yeah, me too. Great to have you back.
Shit. So yeah, so I'd like
I'm not
to.
Sure I missed it at all.
I'd like to get this out to as many people as possible. So those of you who are listening on the podcast version, if you're listening on Spotify, there is video available. So you can see the link that I have put up for their PayPal account. But it is DREDFUNN at outlook.com. That's dreadfun at outlook.com. DREDFUNN at outlook.com. And you can just PayPal them whatever amount that you can. No amount is too small, I'm going to say. I mean, but you are going to get charged for it, so you might want to make it at least somewhat worthwhile.
The good thing about going through PayPal instead of GoFundMe anyway is that they'll get a much larger percentage of the funds.
Right.
You might get charged a small fee, but they'll get all the funds.
They're going to get the money.
Whole amount.
Yeah. Any of us who are sending them money are going to get charged like I said, that 99 cents or whatever, but they will get all of that as long as as long as they're able to transfer it into their bank account directly, which I believe that they are, there is no charge for that. And as long as everybody, and please, please, please make sure when you send these donations, send them as friends and family so that they do not get taxed on the money.
Oh.
It is a donation that way. If you send it the other way with the price protection, I don't know why you would fucking do that anyway. You're not trying to protect anything here. You're not getting anything. Yeah.
It's the opposite of the advice I would give you if you were buying something. But as far as this goes, you do not want to send it.
No.
Goods and services. You want friends and family.
Friends and family. Just, you're doing this as a donation to the family. Like I said, he's going through a lot. I instantly today went on Amazon and purchased something for him. Had it shipped direct to him. Something to help keep his mind off shit. And I'm going to be working pretty hard trying to get this out to everybody for like the next day, I'm sure. But I'd really like to see a strong response from everybody out there. I know I bitch about the fans of these shows. I've bitched about the fans of the Fortean Slip. I've bitched about the fans of this show. I don't ask for much. I'm asking for your help here. This is a guy that really deserves the help. And Des too, his wife. They both deserve help.
If you're not familiar with what he's done, look him up on YouTube. It's the same thing. DREDFUNN. He's got a lot of time-lapse videos. You could probably look him up, Google him too. He's done a lot for the wrestling community. He's done a lot for the Bigfoot community.
I'll pop it up right now.
A lot of stuff.
Dread Fun. Let's see what we got here.
He actually was able to present, if I remember correctly, a drawing of Mick Foley to Mick Foley. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty
That's
sure
awesome.
he did. So this is his page here. Dread Fun. He's got a bunch of videos up. Let's see. Let's go with his videos. He hasn't put up much lately. I know that.
I don't know if his channel's monetized, but binge watch it.
Yeah, and I've said this before. I've asked people before to go out and watch his channel. Check it out. Just go through and start watching some fucking videos.
I mean, you can tell by look at the thumbnails on these things. Look how
That's
detailed.
That Conan that he did right there.
That's the one I'm looking at. Yeah,
that one is amazing. I've seen that video. This one right here, the Cowardly Lion, amazing. Just fucking amazing.
He's very talented, for sure.
Yeah. So, and Desiree is trying to get together some of his artwork, some of the collections that he was selling at the Comic-Cons, and they're trying to get back some stuff from the guy that had all of their, or that has had a bunch of their stuff that I guess has been trying to sell it since Fred's been not going to the Comic-Cons and whatnot. I'm guessing right now, so don't take my word on this shit. But anyway, like, they're trying to get that stuff back anyway, because I asked her to let me know, and we'd promote whatever it is to try to sell that stuff for them. Try to, if you don't want to just give a donation, like if you want something for your money, there'll be that avenue as well for people to be able to go and get themselves some artwork to have. So I'm hopeful, and she's gonna go through a bunch of his stuff. So, and let me know, and I can get that information to you so you can throw it to Matt too, so that he can promote that as well.
And speaking of that, when I did talk to Matt, he was on board fully.
Yeah, I'm sure he was.
He said whatever we need, he'll.
Yeah, and just my big thing, I'd just like him to promote the show. Promote the show? No, I don't want him to promote my show. Fuck that. That's not what this is about. That was a slip, by the way. I would like him to promote my show. No, promote the donations to the PayPal account and whatever Des sets up to be able to sell his stuff. I want to promote that. Promote it on his show, on his Facebook page. I know his Facebook page is pretty solid because I actually like his Facebook page, so I keep up on it. So I'd like to see him promote it there. Promote this on his show. I did reach out to Phil Poling. I haven't heard back yet. There's a bunch of other people I'd like to reach out to. So I have a couple ideas I wanted to throw at you, Steve, after the show. That some people that we might want to throw it at, but I don't know what your thoughts would be there. So I don't want to drag this on all fucking night. However, Fred's a good dude, means a lot to me. And I'd really like to make sure that we make a solid effort on this one. Because if ever there was a dude who deserved some help and a family that deserves some help right now, it's them. So dig deep, motherfuckers. Dig deep. That's all I got to say. Steve, you got anything else on this?
No, just that if there's, I don't know anybody who's more deserving of help, of this nature than Fred and his family. And he's been a good dude to us, especially for a very long time, from the beginning. We always called him the silent member of the show.
Yeah.
He was, and even though not always silent, he was a guest a few times and did the other show with you, but super good guy, and it's his time of need. He needs some help, so we need to step up, even if it's painful. Even if right now I'm going through a financial situation, but I'm still going to help a little bit as much as I can, right? And I think that everybody find something, find a few bucks, send them on over.
Yeah. No,
yeah, and even if it's a small amount, when you're going through something like that, to see a list of strangers who were willing to dig in their pockets and give you money, names you don't recognize, that's powerful morale booster too,
Yeah. And trust me, I'm not going to go into details about it because it's their, personal stuff, but trust me when I tell you, they need this right now.
Yeah.
They need this. So help out as much as you can. I know I'm going to. And I know Steve will. I know everybody sitting here is going to help out a little bit. And every little bit is going to help. It all adds up. There's a lot of people out there that pay attention to this stuff. They don't always listen to this show or, always pay attention to the page or pages or whatnot, but pay attention to this one. Give a little. This is an important one. I know it's not a dog, because I know you guys gave a lot for the dog. But, this is somebody that fucking deserves something, people. Let's see if we can do a little bit more than we did for the dog.
Okay, I think I gave you $5, and then my wife got really pissed off at me.
Yes, she did. And yes, you did. Only give me $5 for the dog. You fucking cheap prick. So,
She ended up giving, I think, 100 or something. I don't know. It was nominal at the time.
I can't remember what it was. I know that I instantly reached out to her and told her that that was extremely lovely, and I appreciated it immensely, and I
Yes.
thanked her.
But I don't get behind these kinds of things often. I've only ever donated 3. Fred's will be the 3rd one. Your dog, and there was one other guy who really deserved it at one point.
No.
This is one I can get behind. And the reason I don't get behind them, a lot of times they're not legit. This is 100%.
Yeah,
Fred needs this, and Fred deserves it. So.
And they they get more Canadian money for our American money. So
Bonus.
It's I guess the exchange rate is up for them right now. So when I sent the money, I saw the exchange rate. I was like, oh, getting a few more loonies.
Good
know
for
what they call
good
their
for
fucking.
them.
You know what they call their fucking bills up there? The loony.
I have no idea.
I thought they called them dollars still. They're just Canadian dollars.
Nah, I think it's called the loony and the fucking toonie. I don't fucking know. They're weird people up there. They're fucking strange.
All I know is I get a lot of Canadian
love
coins in my change.
I love Canadian people. Love them.
Yeah.
Okay? They're the biggest sing-songy bunch of fucks on the face of the earth. They're too happy about shit. Like it's too much. It's too much for me. And I can't do like the French Canadian shit.
Yeah.
That one's rough for me. It's because I live in a tourist town where they come to.
Speaking of French Canadian, I got a wee.
You gotta go?
French Canadian, I got a wee.
Oh god.
Wee.
Do you gotta go to the bathroom? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm fine.
Oh. Okay.
It was supposed to be a joke.
Oh. Ha!
You're super good at those.
Ha! 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 Wow. Thanks for fucking bringing the show to a screeching
Alan,
halt.
I am not back. I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah,
I know Alan's not.
I have not seen Mr. Hentages
Maybe
since I started my new show. I hope not.
Yeah, he's not made an appearance.
I saw him on the Harry Man Hoodwinks and Hoaxes show. So
yeah, he was in there.
Yeah, I saw him over there. So I was like, please don't find my show. Please don't find my show. Anywho, yeah, I will keep the ticker up down bottom for everybody. I will be announcing it before the end of the show. And I will be making a post in all the relevant like pages, etc., etc., etc. Like I said, please dig deep, try to help out. They can really use it. Really, really use it. So, on with the show. What do I got tonight, Steve? I got some
How am
fucking
I supposed
stuff.
to know?
I got some stuff. Steve, that we can talk about. Our first story of the evening, Steve, from Vice.com. A news platform which will be going bankrupt soon.
I saw that.
Yeah, fucking Vice is going down. It's too bad they put out some good stuff at one point in time. So, UFO hunters built an open source AI system to scan the skies. Last year, the Pentagon began releasing regular reports on UFO sightings after the U.S. government established an office dedicated to tracking the aerial anomalies, which it calls Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon, or UAPs, for the first time. But ever since the Roswell flying saucer crash of 1947, officials have frustrated veteran UFO hunters, often dismissing mysterious objects as swamp gas, weather balloons, or more recently, sky trash. Sky trash.
Sky trash.
That's what we're gonna call our poor people eventually, Steve. Sky trash. Now frustrated with a lack of transparency and trust around official accounts of UFO phenomena, a team of developers has decided to take matters into their own hands with an open-source citizen science project called Sky 360, which aims to blanket the Earth in affordable monitoring stations to watch the skies 24/7, and even plans to use AI and machine learning to spot anomalous behavior. Interest in UFOs has waxed and waned over the years, but with the Pentagon's recent declassification of the Tic Tac videos in 2020, an unprecedented acknowledgement of mysterious aerial phenomena from official sources, the frenzy was well and truly reignited. Confirmation of inexplicable flying Tic Tacs or not, the overarching air of secrecy has never really gone away. Although the Director of National Intelligence now discloses UAP sightings, many of those remain unsolved, and the U.S. Navy has said that releasing more videos would be a national security risk. Unlike earlier 20th century efforts such as inventors proposing geomagnetic detectors to discover nearby UFOs, or more recent software like the short-lived UFO ID project, Sky 360 hopes that it can establish a network of autonomously operating surveillance units to gather real-time data of our skies. Citizen-led UFO research is not new. Organizations like MUFON, founded in 1969, have long investigated sightings, while amateur groups like the American Flying Saucer Investigating Committee of Columbus even ran statistical analysis on sightings in the 1960s, finding that most of them happened on Wednesdays. Interesting. Most sightings happen on Wednesdays. However, Sky 360 believes that the level of interest and the technology have now both reached an inflection point, where citizen researchers can actually generate large-scale actionable data for analysis all on their own, on Hump Day. There's distrust about how governments manage UAP sightings, and that's why the idea of a citizen science formation to take this into our own hands and to create our own information about it is necessary. Sky 360 co-chair Richard G. Hopf told Motherboard. Most data is from military use sensors like the National Reconnaissance Office. They have a lot of data, but they would never make it public, nor would they give it to universities for analysis. And this goes on and on and on and on and on, and I am not going to continue with it. But they are going to fucking scan the skies with cameras and AI.
You know, if done right.
Yeah.
I don't like the term citizen scientist because that usually means a bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
You know, amateur morons who want to see what they want to see. But if this program is done correctly, and with the technologies we have today, especially with the new advancements we have in AI now, I mean, something could come of it, you know, if it's done right.
Yeah, they could definitely.
Yeah, I mean, the government probably already has a system in place. I mean, we've had Skywarn for years, and you know, for nuclear missiles and things like that. So I'm sure the technology has existed for a lot of years. But why did they throw that piece in there about Wednesday? That just the flow of the article was going really good, and then
yeah, Wednesday. That's why I put the little note in there on Hump Day.
But we know how citizen scientists things usually end up.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they don't end up. So I have hopes for it, but I'm not sure.
They don't go great.
I would think the government would have a problem with it at some point if it was starting to really be done right. They're going to see too much.
Yeah. But can they really stop it? Because
I don't know.
I mean, if I stick a camera, I'm sure there'll be equipment that, you know, people are going to make a lot of money on, you know, selling this stuff and I stick it on top of my roof. What can the government really do about that?
Right.
You know,
I don't
know. Because even now you could spot a, you know, stealth bomber or whatever before they were you know, known. But because you have visual, you can see, or you could scan the skies with cameras even back then, but they never really put a stop to it, I don't think. So I don't know. They'll always explain things away anyhow.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they'll come up with some weird explanation for shit.
I wonder if you know how they are starting to be a little more open about the Tic Tac UFO, for example, that you mentioned in there. I wonder if that's because our technology is getting so much better, and there are anomalous things in the sky. I mean, you've seen one, I've seen them.
Mhm.
Whether they're UFOs or from outer space or not is a different question. But our technology is catching up with what they can and can't do, And so if they're more open about it,
Mm-hmm.
they don't have to explain things away as much when because our technology is catching up with that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. I I think it's very weird that we're at a point in time now where the government's releasing shit.
Yeah.
That and Katie and I have talked about this a lot about how it seems like it's more of a distraction than anything else.
Could be. I mean, there's a lot of
So,
shit going on in the world they probably don't want us to know about,
Yeah.
or that we do know about, but they'd rather us talk about UFOs. In fact, I'm sure the entire time that UFOs have been around, part of the cover up is the cover up, letting us think there's a cover up, and
Right.
letting us think whatever we want because that
yeah.
distracts from whatever the truth
It's
might be.
easier than the truth.
Sure.
It still feels a little social experimenty to me. Of like maybe they know exactly what that Tic Tac video was, and that's why they're like, "Well, we'll test the waters with this one, see what they think of
You
this."
know, and it really barely. I mean, people talk about it, but it really barely made waves.
Yeah.
So, in the general population is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody knows about it, but it's like, yeah, whatever.
Mm.
And maybe all these years, all they were doing was deadening the blow if something really is out there. You know,
Right.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see if they come across anything. I mean,
if it was affordable and cheap for me to put the camera on top of my roof, I'd do it. You know, I used to do. I used to run the background stuff for the SETI stuff. You could put it on your computer, program on your computer, and it
yeah.
would analyze all this. Yeah, I used to do that. That takes up a lot of. You really have to have a dedicated computer for it.
Our next story of the evening from penlive.com. This is in your neck of the woods, Steve. Or
Yeah,
close to you, kind of.
almost.
Monster spotted by UPS driver in PA roadway is unusual creature that is getting national attention.
Hmm.
Excuse me. A sharp-eyed UPS driver in Carlisle saw something you just don't see every day on Tuesday, and now the whole thing has gone viral because he saw a monster. Well, maybe not a monster exactly, but it was a big lizard that now has a bigger social media presence than most lizards you will ever meet. And the lizard is, at least now it is, named Monster. You can check it out over on the Speranza Animal Rescue
Original.
page because that is where the driver took the lizard after he found it.
Oh
And
wait, this is a real thing.
well, now there are headlines all over the country about Monster now, and Speranza said it has had an overwhelming response to the post and some rescues interested. We are not experienced with lizards and are first to admit it, so we will be looking for a rescue to take this guy in, Speranza posted. He's around 2 feet long, no clue if male or female, and is actually pretty darn cool. Even though temporary, we would like to welcome Monster to the family. The post has been viewed more than 3,000 times with nearly 700 comments and nearly 300 shares. A follower identified it as a savanna monitor, and it kind of looks like one. They are supposedly stoutly built with relatively short limbs and toes. Savannas apparently eat crabs, scorpions, millipedes, centipedes, and things of that nature, and their teeth are apparently good enough to crack and eat snails. Anyway, it looks like Speranza is in the process of finding another rescue to move Monster to, and it will get to live a full life thanks to the UPS driver, I'm going to assume that was supposed to be, who rescued it from a roadway.
So somebody let their pet out,
Probably.
or didn't want it.
Yeah.
Somebody didn't want their Savannah monitor anymore.
Didn't
Those
survive
things
all
aren't
winter,
cheap.
that's for sure.
The problem is those, I'm sure, are not cheap to buy.
No.
So
I'm sure they're not easy to get. I'm pretty sure savanna monitors are the ones that have the bacteria in their mouth too. That if they bite you, you're fucked.
Maybe it was an upset girlfriend. All right, fuck you. I'm going to put your monitor out.
I don't know, but
But
the fucking
you would have thought somebody would have come forward. I mean, they're not. It's obviously not a creature that lives in Pennsylvania. It's not something that we see here.
No.
But so somebody let that thing out.
This isn't Florida where invasive species are all over the fucking place. At this point.
Speaking of Florida and their lizards down there, if it gets too cold, they fall out of the trees. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
my
wife
wife
warnings
used to live in Florida. Yeah.
Warnings if you're walking under trees that you may get hit
Watch
by
out for
fucking
falling.
iguanas and shit.
Falling lizards. My wife said she's seen it because she used to live down there. That's got to be something.
Crazy shit. Our next story of the evening, Steve, from mitechnews.com.
Ooh, that sounds legit.
Covering the business driving Michigan technology. Fighter jets chase UFO, leaving 300 witnesses stunned as they just shot off. Defense officials are investigating radar footage showing a fleet of UFOs being chased by fighter jets. In 2008, up to 300 people witnessed two F-16 jets chasing up to 12 of the unidentified objects. The implausible claim became plausible to those who saw it when the U.S. Air Force denied it had jets in the air, only to later concede its aircraft was in the sky. Despite what they called an internal communications error, military chiefs refused to acknowledge the mile-wide line of purported UFOs near the remote town of Stephenville, Texas. Now, 15 years later, footage from the incident is being probed by the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office on behalf of the U.S. Defense Department. National Geographic's new series UFOs Investigating the Unknown confirmed the existence of the radar footage and also had an eyewitness describe the close encounter. Leroy Gayton, a police officer, said he looked out of his car and saw 10 to 12 fluorescent orbs. He said they were moving really quickly, and then they stopped, and then all of a sudden they shot off.
That's the Stevensville, Texas one?
Mm-hmm.
That was big news back a few years ago.
Yeah,
and you're saying now that the government is actually admitting that the jets were in the air that night.
I guess they had to concede.
Wow, because they've always denied that.
Really?
I believe so. Yeah, for that case, it's a huge case if you look into it.
That's one I hadn't heard of before.
It wasn't a single night. There was, if I remember correctly, the Stevensville UFO was a series of events.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well,
always. Oh, go ahead, Katie.
I think it's weird, all this recent news of this committee or office that they've assigned to investigate all these recent UAPs. You can't tell me they didn't already have that. You can't tell me somebody in the defense wasn't already looking at this shit. So why are you making this horse and pony show? You know what I mean? Isn't that weird? Am I weird? It doesn't make sense to me.
It's always been a horse and pony show. Anytime they've had public investigations of UFOs.
Yeah, they were looking into that already.
Grudge, all that. But yeah, behind the scenes, there's always been some sort of government agency looking into it. We're just hearing them. I think we're hearing more publicly, but I don't think we'll ever hear all of it.
Right.
I'm sure we will, Steve. I'm sure they'll just come.
Well, the only way,
just like they did about JFK, right?
I still have my theories on that one. I've changed my mind on a few things, but JFK still, I don't know.
Yeah, can't do it. Yeah, I don't know that we'll ever get anything that I can consider completely a completely credible office of the government to tell us about this stuff. Personally,
the only way is, and I know it's a cliche, but if one lands on the White House lawn, it's the only way we're going to hear the truth. And it's sad. I mean, I almost guarantee they know, like Katie or somebody said, I think it was Katie, said that they probably know what the Tic Tac UFOs are.
Yeah.
But they're not telling us.
Yeah, it's just a smoke screen type of thing.
And I'm not all for government conspiracies like I used to be, but there are certainly things that our government does not tell us, or any government,
Yeah.
and I think in this case there are, of course, secret. Maybe they have to be, and I'm not saying
Yeah.
that maybe there's certain things that they can't tell us, even if they wanted to. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I would like to think that we'll get a solid answer, but I don't think we're ever gonna really.
No.
Not
I
from the
don't know.
government
I
anyway.
mean, it's crazy that they're starting to admit things, but like you said, who knows? It could be a cover up for something else, or to soften the blow when it actually does happen. Maybe they
Right.
know something we don't know. I
It
don't
just
know.
Yeah.
feels contrived no matter what. Whatever
Mhm.
it is, it's contrived.
Well, it's the government,
Yeah.
you know.
Ain't that the truth?
It's the government.
Our
I mean, I quit
next.
following all of it.
What's that?
I say I quit following anything the government does because, politics and shit like that. It's not worth it anymore.
Yeah, it's a joke. Along with our next story of the evening, Steve, from the express.co.uk. Mystery UFO attack on Air Force base left guards screaming and babbling. A former U.S. Air Force captain and his colleagues were sworn to secrecy after seeing a disc-shaped object that allegedly shut down the U.S.'s nuclear missiles.
Then how do
A
we know
U.S.
about it?
A U.S. Air Force captain has recalled a terrifying moment in which his nuclear base came under attack from a UFO. He described how guards were left frightened, screaming, and babbling by the bizarre sighting, which has been covered up for more than 50 years. Robert Salas, a retired Air Force captain, was heading up to Maelstrom Base in Montana back in 1967. He and his colleagues saw 8 orange-colored lights over the base, which was holding 10 nuclear missiles. Mr. Salas described how guards dashed for safety as an oval-shaped craft disarmed the nukes. In National Geographic's new series, UFOs Investigating the Unknown, oh, Jesus, this one again, to be released this week, Mr. Salas told the show, I kind of dismissed it. I even said, you mean like UFOs? About 5 minutes later, he calls back. He is screaming. When I hung up the phone, I thought we were under attack. We could see the lights going from green to red all across the board, meaning the missiles were inoperable. Despite the fact that a large part of the U.S.'s nuclear capability was wiped out during the incident, it was never investigated by authorities. The staff president at the time also had to sign documents swearing them to secrecy, but this guy spoke out now. 3 years after the incident, the U.S. Air Force stopped its UFO investigation, saying no reported sighting had ever posed a threat. Mr. Salas added that was certainly a lie. The subject of UFOs has been a big talking point in the States recently. Earlier this year, the Senate Armed Services Subcommittee on Emerging Threats and Capabilities discussed recent sightings of UFOs, including one in the Middle East. Footage showed during the hearing saw a strange orb-shaped object fly past a U.S. military aircraft. Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, who heads the agency, talked lawmakers through video footage of a UFO sighting over the Middle East and said, this is essentially all the data we have of this event. He added that it's going to be virtually impossible to fully identify that just based off that video, and that it's considered an unresolved case. Interesting.
The Maelstrom thing we've known about for years. I don't know. It's a little bit of sensationalized title or a clickbait, we would call it on YouTube.
Yeah.
We've known about Maelstrom for decades. Maybe there's new information I don't know about, because I never heard about the guards battling and things like that. Maybe it's in there, but yeah.
I don't know.
Little clickbait either.
It's all clickbait. That's all
But
it is.
that is definitely an incident that is a head scratcher, because they did lose the ability to control the weapons and all that stuff. Just
While
shut
it was
down.
going on.
While that event was going on. That is crazy. And it's one of those ones that I look at and I'm like, well, maybe there is something, to it.
Yeah.
So.
Our next story of the evening. This one's just a fun one. From Bigfoot99.com. I assume it's a like a radio station. Saratoga man arrested for shooting at loud WYDOT trucks. A Saratoga man was arrested for shooting at loud WYDOT trucks. On April 14th, 42-year-old Saratoga resident Luke Ryan Vargas was arrested for allegedly firing a rifle into the ground outside the Wyoming Department of Transportation shop south of Saratoga. According to court documents, Robert Carnes called the Carbon County Sheriff's Office to report Vargas. Carnes said that he was hauling sand through Saratoga when he spotted Vargas standing beside Highway 130, holding a rifle. Carnes said he witnessed Vargas fire the weapon into the ground as he drove past. The next day, Carnes said Vargas came to the WYDOT garage south of town while he and other drivers were inside. Carnes said that Vargas allegedly had the rifle in the back seat of his vehicle. Vargas allegedly said he had fired the shot as a warning to the truck drivers because they were being too loud when they applied their engine brakes. A verbal argument ensued where Vargas allegedly brandished a pocket knife. Afterwards, Vargas left the scene. Sergeant John Moore responded to the WYDOT driver's call. Sergeant Moore took statements from Carnes and other witnesses at the shop. Court documents indicate that Sergeant Moore was familiar with Vargas and had dealings with him in the past.
Vargas!
Of course he did. Sheriff Alex Bakken said Vargas was arrested for reckless endangering. Sheriff Bakken said he fired a rifle into the ground near WYDOT shop and was in possession of a pocket knife but did not directly threaten anyone with it.
So he was mad about the loud trucks. So he countered with a loud
firearm.
Got it.
Yes. Correct, Steve.
Wow.
You are correct.
I think the firearm would disturb the community a little bit more than the YDOT trucks going through. Just my guess.
Oh, yeah. Our next story of the evening, our title story of the evening, from NBCnews.com. 6 cattle that died mysteriously in Texas had their tongues removed, authorities say. 6 cattle died mysteriously in Texas with their tongues removed and the hide around one side of their mouths gone and no blood spilled, authorities said this week. The cause of death for the 6 animals was unknown, the Madison County Sheriff's Office said in a statement Wednesday. As of Friday, there had been no updates in the case, a dispatcher said. The cattle were found along Texas State Highway in 3 counties, Madison, Brazos, and Robertson, with each animal part of a different herd and in a different pasture, the Sheriff's Office said. 5 of the animals were adults, the Sheriff's Office said. 1 was a yearling. It wasn't immediately clear when they died. The sex of the animals wasn't disclosed. Oh. Okay. I don't know that fucking matters, but in 2 cases, the animals' genitalia and anuses had been removed, with a circular cut that the Sheriff's Office said had been made with the same precision as the cuts noted around the jaw lines of each cow. Investigators with the Madison County Sheriff's Office discovered 5 of the deaths after ranchers alerted authorities to a dead 6-year-old longhorn cross cow, the statement said. The grass around the bodies of all 6 animals was undisturbed, with no signs of struggle and no footprints or tire tracks found, the Sheriff's Office said. Ranchers also reported that no predators or birds would scavenge the remains of the cow, leaving it to decay untouched for several weeks, the Sheriff's Office said.
Sure.
The Sheriff's Office noted that similar incidents have been reported across the United States, and it was coordinating with other law enforcement agencies. In 2019, authorities in Oregon found 5 dead bulls that had their sex organs and tongues removed, the Associated Press reported. The deaths prompted theories that included everything from carrion bugs to spaceships and cult killings. According to the AP, it wasn't clear if the deaths were solved.
They were. They've been solved for many years.
6 cattle died, Steve.
Yeah.
The cattle died.
Cattle mutilation has gone back for
the cattle
a long
died,
time.
Steve. I don't know
what's the first thing a predator goes for? Soft tissue.
I don't know I don't know why you got to be so heartless, Steve. People died. No, cattle died. I'm sorry, cattle died.
I don't know how the cows died, and I don't know if it's normal for that many cows or that stretch of property to die.
The cattle died, Steve.
But the missing tongues mean absolutely nothing. I mean, the predator's going for the softest tissue they can get, and a tongue is soft tissue.
Yeah,
it's easy. I mean, when they cut, they've done studies on this. When they cut the skin, it looks like a precision cut after a few days because of the cauterization and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's my take. I just don't believe cattle mutilation stories anymore. I just don't buy them.
You're not in Linda Moulton handbags side on this one?
No, not since I learned, sciencey stuff.
Oh, she's a big proponent of the cattle mutilations.
Sure.
Old Linda Moulton. I sat out in the sun until I looked like a handbag. God, those people on Ancient Aliens. They're fucking caricatures.
Didn't she pass away recently?
She may have. I don't know. She was getting up there.
Let me look.
I know that.
Somebody in that
In that camp.
genre. American journalist.
Linda Moulton Howe.
Yeah, it looks like she might still be alive.
Yeah,
Okay, go ahead. You can pick on her.
Right. Sounds good. Sounds good. I was going to pick on her regardless. Long live
right.
Monster, says Farmer
She's
Fred Smith.
She is 81. She's 81 years old now.
Farmer Fred Smith checking in. All right. So, Steve, you haven't been on the show for a little bit. We take a break now. In case you need to go wee-wee.
Wee. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, wee.
Yeah. In case you gotta go, use the facilities or whatnot. We shall return. We leave you, as always, with the sounds of night driving to get you through until we're back. Steve, you'll like this. You like
good.
this? Just totally fucking takes you away, Steve. So we will return momentarily. Enjoy the sounds of night driving. Be right back. We are back.
I could listen to this all night.
Fucking love this shit.
It is really pleasant.
It's
Super
great.
relaxing.
Yeah.
Super fucking relaxing. I got to admit
Is
that.
it like is that a Kevin MacLeod special or?
It's something that they give you through StreamYard.
Oh, StreamYard has music now.
Yeah. Yeah, you can just
Very nice.
pod it up and play it. So Katie and I started taking a break so that we could, like I said, use the facilities if we have to, or grab a drink or whatnot, between the two segments of the show, and then we put this music on. We just
Can you adjust volume and everything?
Yep.
Nice.
I can bring it up. Fucking nice and loud. Bring it back down. Bring it back down.
I like it.
Yeah.
StreamYard, and I think we were one of the first to actually, grasp on a hold of it because we saw the potential in it from the beginning, and it just keeps getting better.
Yeah, I see lots of people using it.
Everybody does now.
Yeah, a lot of people use StreamYard. So, so we were going to get into the Sarah Boone case this week, but because of everything that went on and has happened this week, I haven't been able to look it over. I did start digging into the staircase.
Yep.
So that
Me too.
I am 8 episodes deep into the documentary again. Now,
I think that's about where I'm at.
I have watched the documentary before.
Yeah. Me too. I think this is number 3 for me, actually.
I'd watched through the whole documentary before, so I'm gonna watch through the entire documentary of the staircase, and then I'm gonna sit down and start watching the True Crime Weekly breakdown. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know where I'm at with that right now from watching the documentary. Because it's so fucking. As I've told you, my problem with that dude is the fact that he fucking kept shit from his attorney that he shouldn't have.
Which is funny because later on in the documentary, he says, "Oh, I've been honest with you about everything.
Yeah, I've told you everything.
You've got my life in your hands."
Then why'd my fucking private investigator have to find out about your bisexuality? Right. Anywho, I don't want to get into that now because we're going to do a deep dive on that. But I am pretty fucking deep into the staircase documentary. Now, the thing that I do want to talk about this week is Lori Vallow.
Yeah. That bitch.
Lori Vallow has been sentenced?
Yes.
Or just found guilty?
Ooh. I don't know. Nope. Sentencing, I don't think has happened yet. But she's been convicted. She
is convicted of murder. Now, what about Chad? Is Chad still going through?
Yes, he still has his trial coming up.
Right.
Which I think is interesting. I don't think Lori, she got convicted of conspiracy to murder.
Really? I thought she got convicted of murder.
I think the main charges were conspiracy. I guess I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
Let me see. Guilty of murdering a BBC. Let's see. U.S. Doomsday Cult. This is from the BBC.com. Lori Vallow, U.S. Doomsday Cult mom, guilty of murdering children rival. Rival. An Idaho mother in a Doomsday Cult has been found guilty of murdering her 2 children and her husband's former wife. In a case that shocked the U.S., Lori Vallow and her husband Chad Daybell were charged with murders, conspiracy, and grand theft in the killings. The 49-year-old beautician now faces up to life in prison. The bodies of Joshua J.J. Vallow, 7, and Tylee Ryan, 16, were found buried at Mr. Daybell's home in 2020. Vallow, flanked by her lawyers, sat impassively as the jury returned its verdict, finding her guilty on all 6 counts of murder, conspiracy, and grand theft.
Yep.
So she has been found Guilty.
She is thoroughly fucked.
Cult mom. This is a fucking weird one. To me. I do not understand this shit at all. This fucking... Your children get labeled as... What did they call them?
Dark. It was a light and dark scale.
Yeah, like what?
And then
what
zombies.
Is that?
We called them zombies too.
What the fuck is that shit?
It's the highest level of delusion I've ever heard of, for sure.
And then you kill your kid because they're a zombie?
What's it take to do that?
I'm confused.
Yeah.
What does it take? It takes fucking insanity, Steve.
I know, but murders on this level. This is there is no level. I mean, to murder somebody for that purpose, because I don't know, was she a cult leader or was she just part of a cult?
Chad could be more considered the cult leader,
but they were kind of co-conspirators, I'm guessing, right? You guys have been talking about this for a while.
I think, would you say, Katie, that eventually they kind of were like two peas in a pod?
Oh, they were, but he had previous peas in his pod.
So you think he was more in control?
Yes, absolutely. And I think she was just the perfect candidate and she fell for it. And I think they were toxic together for sure. Like it was a bad combination. But the fact that not only can they do this, and like we can't believe that, but they then proceeded to go to Hawaii and get married and take pictures on the beach as if their children weren't just murdered. So that's the level of delusion that gets me. The sitting poolside in Hawaii, that's what gets me.
The cult mentality, when it blows my mind what people will do. I mean, it's similar to, with Jim Jones. I mean, all those people just drank the damn Kool-Aid. They knew what was going to... No, some of them were forced to, that we were finding out, but...
Right.
Not all of them.
No.
And they forced their children to drink that same Kool-Aid. So it's the same kind of mentality. And man, oh man, what does it take?
To me, it's worse because... those people who made their children drink the Kool-Aid then proceeded to drink the Kool-Aid themselves.
True. You're
Lori
right.
Vallow gave the Kool-Aid to her kids, so to speak, and then went and sipped Mai Tais on the beach in Hawaii. So
yeah, it's a whole new level. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's fucked.
Yeah, those videos of the reporters trying to ask where the kids are.
Yeah.
While they're in Hawaii is disgusting.
That's what got her convicted. I'm sure of it. Like that was the nail in the coffin for that jury. They had already had enough, and then they saw that, and they're like, "Oh shit, we know exactly what to do here."
They were just like, "What a piece of shit."
Yeah.
So yeah, this whole thing went down this week. I think you had messaged me like right after I had seen it.
Yeah, I was late on it too.
After.
I didn't see the like waiting period where they say like, "Ooh, the verdict's in an hour till announcement." I missed that, but
yeah, and that whole thing, like, what a weird, like I said, the whole cult thing. It was a very odd angle. I'm looking it up right now. I want to know what the fuck. Let's see. Good old Chad Daybell.
their trials were supposed to be together, and then they got separated.
All right, so this was on May 12th. This is from CBSNews.com. So Chad Daybell, what to know about the man facing trial in the Doomsday Cult murder case. Half of the couple at the center of the Idaho murder case involving extreme religious beliefs is still facing trial after the conviction of his wife. A judge severed the trials of Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow Daybell after Daybell waived his right to a speedy trial. Excuse me. Lori Vallow Daybell went on trial separately and was convicted May 12th of all charges, including the murders of her 2 children. In total, Daybell faces 6 charges. He is charged with murder in the death of his first wife, Tammy Daybell, and in the deaths of his wife, Lori Vallow Daybell's children, 7-year-old Joshua J.J. Vallow and 16-year-old Tylee Ryan. He is also charged with conspiracy to commit murder in all 3 deaths. In the deaths of J.J. and Tylee, that conspiracy charge also includes conspiracy to commit grand theft by deception. Lori Vallow Daybell was convicted of grand theft for taking the children's Social Security checks after their deaths. He has pleaded not guilty, while Boyce took the death penalty off the table for Vallow Daybell, who will be sentenced in about 3 months. It could still be a possibility for Daybell. So Chad could still get the death penalty. When is Chad's trial? Daybell's trial has not yet been scheduled. The judge in the case, Judge Stephen Boyce, ruled in March that Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow Daybell would be tried separately, granting a motion to sever the trials by Daybell's attorneys. Daybell had earlier waived his right to a speedy trial. But he's being charged pretty much with the same shit.
He's not going to make it to death. If they give him the death penalty out of that, somebody's going to beat the shit out of him in prison.
Possibly.
I
Very
doubt he'll ever
possibly.
be put in Gen Pop. He'll probably be put on his own. Especially if he gets a death penalty.
I was trying to find exactly...
I'd rather see him sit there for the rest of his life and rot.
Yeah, me too, honestly.
So he was Mormon.
It was an extreme Mormon thing, but yes.
Very, very extreme.
What the
The
fuck?
regular Mormon community did not accept him and his shit.
I'm sorry, but the regular Mormon community doesn't hold much fucking water with me.
Yeah, fair.
If I'm being completely honest.
They're weird for
But the
sure.
regular Mormon community aren't a bunch of, child killers. So,
I didn't say that they were, but
no.
I will say that they have often in the past turned a blind eye to shit that's gone on.
Of course they have.
So, and
But what religion hasn't, though?
Exactly. Well, I don't agree with any of that bullshit either.
Yeah.
I've never agreed with it. I say fucking burn it all to the ground.
Yeah, I can't disagree.
That's me at this point. But I don't get it. It was a fringe extreme side of this. It's like when they say that fucking David Koresh was a fringe out. Okay, please explain to me how a man who believes that Jesus Christ has come back to planet Earth and has risen again is somehow fucking fringe in Christianity. Please fucking explain that to me like I'm 5. Because every time somebody comes and says that they are fucking Christ reborn, oh, they're a fringe Christian fucking person. You all believe that shit. So the next time it fucking happens, why don't you just say some Christian is doing some fucking crazy shit? He's not fringe.
Well,
Holy fuck.
You could argue that he's not Christian either. You could argue that it's his own thing. But
Yeah, absolutely. But the idea that these things that these ideas are so wacky and outside the realm of these fucking religions. Have you read the fucking Bible? For fuck's sake.
I've always thought to myself, what makes a cult a cult? Aren't they all? Aren't all religions pretty much?
Yeah. It's to
one degree.
Right, one level or another, they're all a fucking cult.
Yeah, they all
I
fit
agree.
the angle.
I
And
absolutely
I
agree.
grew up in church, you know, and as probably most of you did, and you know, I saw
Excuse
it
me.
all. You know, I'm coming from that angle where,
Yeah.
hey, I'm not saying there isn't a God if that's what you believe in, but pretty much organized religion is a cult, all of
Yeah.
it, every bit.
It's sad too. It's really sad. How it's been used and how it's been used to abuse people and take advantage of people over the years and over the centuries.
Well, and clearly it brainwashes people. That's how you get these fanatics where they get so deep into it and they start to make their own interpretations and then they start to feel powerful. And then it's just this
Yeah,
like snowball effect of craziness.
yeah.
I'm listening to a podcast now, and it's about a Catholic priest. He was never really an ordained Catholic priest, but he started his own little thing, you know, and it was just cult. You know, he didn't. It can happen in every
Yeah.
single.
Yep.
There's fringe, and what do you want to call it?
Hmm.
Fringe fanatics in every
Yeah.
religion, every single one of them. And
I
I never thought to think that there was a Catholic cult. Catholics, I see as peaceful people. Yeah, they have their child molesting thing going on, but you know what I mean. They're
yeah,
not.
they have that going on.
When you when you think of cults, lean more towards the Pentecostal side of things.
Right.
The boisterous, the you know, the over the top kind of people, snake charmers or whatever they, you know, those kind of people. But even the Catholic Church has it,
Yeah.
and it blew my mind.
Yeah, it's not a
The
surprise.
Catholic Church is super
Culty.
crazy like that. And that's the whole reason why Lutheranism exists, which is
Right.
ironic because they've fallen into a lot of the same pitfalls that they tried to get away from. So it
Because
is.
when you
It's,
organize anything, including religion, you have a power. It becomes
yeah.
politicized, basically.
Well,
And
and it's
it,
people. People
people,
suck.
yeah.
Unfortunately.
I'm not for anarchy either. You have to have organization,
Yeah.
but you have to take the good with the bad in that. And most people don't want to see the bad in religion. You know, they want to see the good,
Right.
and there is good. You know, I grew up that way, but it taught me to be a good person. I'm not gonna ever doubt that, but I also see the bad side of that. I mean, I knew the deacons personally. I knew what went on behind the scenes, and it wasn't pretty.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
like you said, like we said, people are human.
Yeah.
People are flawed. You know, that was the biggest thing growing up that I got sick and tired of as a young kid is watching hero worship of
Yeah.
people
That's
and
big in
seeing
churches.
people get fucking just propped up on these pedestals that they didn't deserve at all.
Yeah.
And then realizing or finding out that the people that you thought were on these pedestals were not the people that you thought they were.
Yeah.
You know, pay no attention to the man
Unfortunately,
behind the
yeah.
fucking curtain.
You're right.
You know, that's the
I have
type
to
of shit.
say, the preacher I grew up with was a good man, still a good man. But some of the ones that came after him,
Yeah.
you know, not so good. Now he believed they all. I'm convinced they all believe what they're saying is true. Most of them. Your TV preachers, I don't think so. You know, they're out for the money and shit. But your small town preachers, like where I grew up, they believe it. You couldn't. How could you do that if you didn't? I mean,
Yeah.
I know you can,
Right.
but
But
yeah, I don't know.
I have a similar perspective of that. Yeah, I knew some good leaders in the church, but I definitely now that I'm an adult and I look back, I see some like, okay, like, oh, well, that doesn't make me feel all warm and fuzzy inside, but that's what makes me
Trucker
feel
arm.
I feel solid as a Christian in that, like, yeah, I still hold my Christianity, but my experience leads me to believe that I don't need to go to church and belong to that community to identify as a Christian and feel good about it. You know what
I
I
had a
mean? Like,
discussion. I had a discussion with somebody the other day, and they were blown away by the fact that I said, they asked me, "Do you still believe in God?" Because I grew up in church. Like, I don't know. That was my answer. I don't know. And they were blown away by the fact that somebody couldn't know. you
Yeah,
know,
really?
like, because I've seen it all. It's I don't know what I believe anymore, and I wish I
Yeah.
did. But I can also see how these people turn into so big of believers that they could go the path of what we're talking about tonight. Not
Yeah.
that extreme though. I don't know how you get that extreme,
Right.
but I can understand cult mentality.
Still a
You want to
slippery
belong to
slope.
some you want to belong to something, number one, and you feel important when you belong, even if it's a small part. But that can balloon into something like this, and because it's a sense of community when you're involved in a church. Basically, in a lot of communities, that is the community, is the
Yeah.
local church, and so that's if you're important there, you're important outside the church, and you're important everywhere. And I can see, and you idolize the pastor. I know I
Yeah.
did when I was a kid. I
Yep.
saw him up there, and he was fiery, and now I know him as just a man.
That
Hold on, I
happens.
gotta take this.
Oh Jesus, he doesn't change at
Good
all.
old Steve.
Have him on as a fucking guest, and
Yep.
he's still
Good
the
old
same.
Steve.
Leaving his
Can
fucking
count on
phone
him.
on. Can't fucking count on him for shit. It's just the way it is. So, Farmer Fred Smith, I do have to apologize for us not going over the Sarah Boone case this week. We will get into that next week.
Yes.
But I did want to, between everything that happened this week and me finding out about Fred and trying to coordinate for stuff with the show this week and making sure that I had all the details hammered out. So the Sarah Boone case, we will get into that next week. I want to go over her fucking interrogation.
Yeah.
Like, I want to find good unedited video that I can timestamp and go through
Right.
so that we can look at the different areas of it
There's
that
actually
we want to.
several now. There's several YouTube videos out there with like unedited full
Good,
interrogation. And there's
good.
body cam of when they first came to the residence of the crime scene. There's body
Yeah,
cam of that too. So,
yeah. That's an interesting case, and I definitely want to get into that. So I don't
yeah.
want you to think that we completely forgot about it. We didn't. I have the link saved that Katie sent me.
I might send you a
Excuse me.
different one.
You might send me a different one.
Yeah, because that one I sent you is fun and it's enjoyable, but I don't think it's what you're looking for. So I'm going to send you a different one.
Well, I might watch it anyway just to
Yeah.
look it over.
Yeah.
But yeah, to get back to it, like, I totally get what Steve's saying. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I was just talking with somebody about this the other day. Like, the idea that the theory that we're already, or we're not already dead, but we're at the moment of our death. And that because a lot of people who study time say that all time happens at the same time.
Ugh, that hurts
But
my
that,
brain.
but that because of how our brains work, we can only experience it linearly
Yeah.
from beginning to end.
I can't comprehend anything else.
So we're at the moment of our death, and we're like it's sort of like life is flashing before your eyes sort of thing. But in real time from beginning to end. And I think about that, and the more and more that I think about it, I'm like, that kind of, I don't know why, but it kind of makes sense to me. Like, it takes into account a lot of things, like, deja vu kind of makes sense when you look at things that way because you've already experienced it.
My brain can't do that. That's some gymnastics.
But the other thing that I keep going back to is causality. Is that everything in this universe, literally everything, is the cause of something else. And when we look at like serial killers, we were just talking about serial killers earlier. There's literally things that you can point to in their childhood where you can go, yes, of course, this is why this happened. So I'm beginning more and more to think in terms of the fact that the Big Bang happened, and at that moment, literally everything that ever would, will, and can happen did happen, or was known at that not did happen, but was its incarnation was at that precise moment. Everything boils down to that. We're here because of that. And I totally believe, I'm more and more beginning to believe that we don't have free will. That we're just here to enjoy the ride. We're just here to just watch the fucking movie. Like, yes, we think we have control. Yes, we feel like we have some semblance of control. But we're really just here to watch the fucking movie. And the more and more I look at it, that's the more and more that I see it. Like, you know, why I one of my favorite books that I've ever read is Illusions by Richard Bach. And it's about this guy who barnstorms across the U.S. and he runs into the Messiah while he's barnstorming, giving people fucking plane rides. This Messiah dude takes him to the fucking movies one day. And they're in the middle of the movie. He's really enjoying the fucking movie. And the Messiah, his name's Donald Shimoda. Why the Messiah's name was Donald Shimoda, I don't know, but that was what his name was. And Don turns to Richard halfway through the movie and he says, "Why are you here?" And Richard's really into the movie. He's like, "Shut the fuck up," basically. Like, I'm trying to watch the movie. And Don won't stop. He's like, "Why are you here?" Like, I'm trying to enjoy the movie. Like, and afterwards, he's like, you know, you sat there and you were watching this movie. And you were enthralled with it. You went up with it. You went down with it. You enjoyed it, even though there were dark parts of it and there were happy moments and sad moments. Much like your life. And the more and more that I look at that shit, the more I think that this is just our movie. We're just here to watch it. We're just here to experience it. It's not really a watching thing because you experience it. You live it. It's a very immersive, subjective experience. But I can't wrap my head around anything else lately. I can't wrap my head around the idea that we're outside, that we have any semblance of control. Because you're born at a specific point to two specific people under specific circumstances. And everything is determined, in my opinion. We welcome yours.
I like to, I'm going to live the illusion of free will. Even if that's the case, because mentally, I don't think I can handle it any other way.
Yeah, that's heavy.
Right. I can wash away my ego every once in a while and look at things that way. Now, I do also, I like how Aleister Crowley, looked at life. He described it. Now, a lot of people don't like Crowley, but he was a fucking nut job who understood some things. And he looked at life like a river. And he was like, you can't change the course of your river, your life. You know, you can just navigate it. He's like, but if you can understand where things are coming up in your life, maybe you can navigate the river a little better. but you're still going to wind up in the same place.
Yeah, that's a good analogy, I guess.
I have always liked that one.
I can grasp that one better.
Yeah, and you wouldn't if you realized who it came from.
I'm sure. I believe you.
He was considered the demon by some.
Ah,
Good old Crowley. But yeah, so in and of that, I was going back to Steve. You were on the phone or whatever. I was going back to the thing that you were saying about the fact that you didn't know.
Could you try again?
The fact that you didn't know about God. I was kind of extrapolating on that and going down my own rabbit hole with it. But
does there even need to be a God? To be honest, I don't know.
well, that's honestly where like I said, like, yeah, I feel good saying I'm a Christian and I'm comfortable in that. But part of that is, and this is a thing for a lot of Christians that I think we all kind of fall back on, and it's not necessarily a good thing, but the definition of faith is believing without knowing. So like, no, I don't know that there's a God, but I have faith that there is. And
what if you're a meat robot just stuck in a simulation?
Well, I guess I'm an overthinker then in that case.
No, see, and I've thought about this, but I've thought about this too. I've sat back and wondered, like, so if this is a simulation, does that take a creator out of the equation? And I don't mean the person that created the simulation.
Right.
I mean, does that take a creator out of the equation? And I don't think so.
Isn't that kind of the same thing? Yeah, that's still kind of the same thing to me, but not necessarily one I want to bow down to and pray to every night. That's for sure.
And I will say this:
that.
if we are a simulation, okay, that's pretty amazing. Because if we're nothing more than just AI, then we're sentient life.
I can't look at Mother Nature and think we're AI. I can't do it.
Wait until VR gets really, really fucking good and then tell me that.
No.
Because we're getting there.
My mind cannot accept that. Like, Mother Nature is too incredible.
Can you imagine the simulation, the technology behind that? I mean,
it's
obviously
coming.
We're nowhere.
Dude, it's coming.
Anytime.
The minute.
Anytime soon.
When they get quantum computers figured out, I will guarantee you that VR in the way that you and I think that VR should be, like the lifelike VR, will happen.
It's like Avatar.
It'll be more like, or holodeck shit.
It'll be, yes. That shit will happen.
And I think we could have that technology, but not on a global scale.
I don't think we should.
Of course, we could be in a tiny little room, just like the holodeck. I don't know. It looks like, but I don't buy it. I think
just like you don't know that there's, you have questions of whether or not there's a God, a creator, or whatever. Like, how do we know? How do we know we're not just asleep somewhere? Or how do we know that we're just not a fucking...
You might not even exist.
A bunch of ones and zeros. Like, how do we know? How would we know? Maybe ego is just a program, just designed to, to protect us. And maybe people who are mentally ill just have faulty fucking programming.
Yeah, I'm gonna have some words with my programmer for sure.
This stuff literally hurts my brain, you guys. Like, I can't.
I don't believe any of it. We're here as a result of evolutionary processes. That's my opinion at this point.
Yeah, biology. Just biology. I feel like that one word just...
There are things that make me pause. Like, how come out of all the apes, we wear clothes and don't have fur and things like that? Why did that happen?
I watched a video of a chimpanzee feeding a turtle today.
Oh.
handing it its apple and letting it take bites of it. And I was like, we are not really all that fucking important.
We're not.
That was my takeaway from it.
The only reason we're important is because we figured out how to harness fire. Right. Really, that's the only reason we
technology
at all.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's all technology.
Fire set us apart.
We'd still shit in our hands and throw it at each other in a second.
Some people still do.
Hot minute. Yeah.
Well, isn't that really what we do anyway, metaphorically?
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Oh,
fuck yeah.
Gross.
It's all shit throwing.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
It's so true.
Look at what's been going on in this country for the past fucking 4 or 5 years.
See, but even all that, all the cultural stuff, it's so hard for me to think we're this big giant simulation when we have all these different cultures and political fights, and it's so complex.
You know, before the pandemic, I would have never bought the simulation theory. Since then, that might make a little more sense. For real. I mean, if you think of what we went through.
Yeah, no, that was weird.
How all the dynamics changed. All of them.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It's stressful.
But I still don't think...
It was Earth 4.0. Somebody downloaded an update.
And I'm not going to say, these things are right or wrong, but we now have women or men competing in women's sports, and it's okay. You know? And things like that, maybe we are in a simulation. What
Some
happens
weird
if
shit
we do
going on.
This? And I'm not saying that's wrong or right.
I love how you can't even have that discussion.
Yeah.
You can't. You're
not allowed to.
I am.
You got to stay on the right side if you're going to have it.
But what I'm saying is...
What side are you on, Steve?
Even 5 years ago, we would have never even thought that would be a discussion. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So maybe we are in a simulation. Maybe they're throwing things at us to see where it goes. I mean, we're just a bunch of Sims.
But what if... I think social media is just a weird ingredient in that. The way we communicate with each other has changed. So to me, that's enough to make things weird. Social media is gross.
I think we also, as humans, go through cycles too.
Yeah.
So at one time, the conservatives are all the big thing, and they're the ones who are important in running the show. The next time, all the liberal thinkers are the thing, and they're the ones running the show.
It's that pendulum.
And we go in this cycle, and then it flips, because right now we got YouTube censoring bad words out of shit. What the hell? They're supposed to be on the liberal side of things, which ridiculous. Would have allowed that in the past. So things get convoluted. And it gets weird.
Steve. As long as you don't curse for the first 3 minutes, you're okay.
I know, but remember, there was a point where there was no cursing, pretty much. It didn't matter when in the video you did it. If you had heavy cursing in your videos, they were going to take you down. And a lot of big channels got taken down. But they're supposed to be a company who's on the liberal free speech side of things. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And they're not.
No, well...
it's weird to me. And everything's getting thrown and mixed up.
They take a weird stance on pedos, too. All of the groups that, go and, try to catch predators... They get shut down so hard on YouTube, and they can't function on there. And it doesn't make sense to me. They're not talking about them to promote them. Come on. It's so stupid. I don't get it.
And so things like that make me want to start maybe thinking about what Chris is saying, that we're part of a simulation, because it just doesn't make sense.
Well, see, I look at all the stupid people, though, and then it does make sense. If, this world is full of stupid people... It's not a simulation. It's just ignorance.
Incredibly stupid people.
Yes.
Okay, so the viewers probably don't know, but I DoorDash now. That's what I pretty much do for a living. Still do my eBay and Amazon and stuff like that. But to make quick money, I DoorDash. And I see a lot of things. Lot of things.
I bet.
Yesterday, I went to this very nice apartment building, and apartment number 1. I couldn't even make it in the door. It smelled like a week-old diaper pail. And the lady opens the door, and I hand her food. Very expensive food. It wasn't cheap food. We have this place that makes crepes and things, and she got some whatever that chocolate stuff. It's expensive stuff. And it just wafted out on me. I'm like, how do you live like this? Stupid people, number one. DoorDash drivers. I see people, and you're representing, number one, yourself. You're representing the restaurant that you're picking up from and delivering from, and you're representing DoorDash as a company. These people go to work in pajamas, literally.
Yeah. Yep.
Don't you have any respect at all? Self-respect. Stupid people.
Yeah.
It's just, and the drivers out there, stupid people.
Yep.
I ordered from DoorDash the other night. It's like the second time that I have, because the first time my experience was horrible. This time the food was I shouldn't have ordered. I knew I shouldn't have. But the kid that delivered it, I got to admit this. Young kid, super polite, wicked nice. Like, I mean, I couldn't have asked for a nicer delivery driver than this kid. And I was shocked.
I'd say on the most part, they're good people. It's just, again, the fringe side of things.
Dude, I worked at the hotel, okay?
By the way, Dunkin' Donuts is the worst frickin' place to pick up from.
Yeah, it sure
Every
is.
one of them sucks.
Sure is.
You guys don't make the stuff until I get there.
When I worked at the hotel, the problem that I ran into with DoorDashers is the hotel policy was you can't leave it at the front desk.
Oh.
And when I would tell that to them, they would just drop it and walk off.
See that, and you will get those kind of people.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but by and large, the DoorDashers that I dealt with were dicks.
It may be because for me, when I deliver to a hotel, if I have the room number, I take it straight to the room.
Right.
And that's just, I don't always have the room number because customers are also stupid people.
Yes, and the customers are stupid. Correct. That is correct.
As far as stupid people, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
No,
so maybe that cult mentality makes more sense when you look at it as humans as a whole.
I don't know that I will ever understand cult mentality.
But we all have it. We all have it, Chris. You follow a certain sports team, and not you particularly or me particularly,
No,
but
I don't follow sports.
that is cult mentality. You are all in for that team. You're wearing your colors. Everybody else is an asshole. Fans beat up other fans at certain stadiums, like the Raiders. If somebody else comes in with a Eagles uniform on or whatever. I don't know what leagues or what, but
I don't know what I got a cult mentality for. I don't follow anything like that. I can't even keep up on TV shows.
It's easy.
There's lots of it though.
It's so easy to fall into that stuff.
Yeah.
I guess I just don't get it.
We look at these cults, the fringe stuff, like the Daybells there. We look at them as cults and a bad thing, and it is.
Yeah.
But they're not that much different. Now, they're extreme, of course, very extreme.
Yeah, they kill their kids.
The lower level people in these cults aren't that much different than sports fans or churchgoers.
Oh yeah, no, I get that.
Or Ford guys or Chevy guys.
I get what you're saying. I get the point that you're making. I don't think it lessens the severity of what happens at all.
No.
But I think that there are some people that just get dragged. Like there were some people at Waco that were just there because they thought they were doing the right thing.
Right. I agree with that. A lot of people do. The Catholic one I was watching, he would appoint these ladies nuns, and they thought they were doing God's will. They didn't know any different. Yeah. But he was stealing money from people. He was, doing all sorts of stupid, crazy. He wasn't a killer or anything like that. It wasn't that kind of cult. But just because you believe so heavily in something, you tend to make decisions that maybe aren't rash.
Yeah.
And people, innocent people, do get caught up in that shit, and it's fairly easy to do. I thought to myself today, man, all you have to do is, what was it? Hubbard, L. Ron Hubbard said, you got to, if you make a religion, people will follow you. You'll make money, or whatever it was he said.
He wasn't wrong.
And
he
he
wasn't
did.
wrong.
Well,
Yeah.
and I think there's another powerful aspect to that too, of that people get so deep into this stuff, and then all of a sudden they wake up and then they got to do something big to get out of it. And I think that's another aspect where stuff goes wrong in religion sometimes too. Like, it's the other side of it.
Yeah.
It's got the other one I'm listening to, Rami, I think the spiritual guru's name was, what, it doesn't really matter. They're all the same. But this one guy, his name is Will, and he's following him. And he's like teaching Buddhist teachings, but in a more contemporary way, where you can have stuff and, make money, and it doesn't matter. You can still be spiritual, but there's a lot. But yet, when it came, this guy bought a Ferrari because he always wanted a Ferrari. He's in this cult. He bought this Ferrari, and the spiritual leader comes out and looks at the Ferrari, and he's like, "Nice car, sell it." Guy leaves the cult for 2 weeks, thinks about it, sells the fucking car, gives the money to the cult leader, and goes back to the cult. It's just normal. And this guy is a bazillionaire. I mean, he's got a lot of money. Now, that doesn't mean anything. He's a smart guy, college-educated guy. Now, he's out of the cult now. I haven't got to the point where he gets out of the cult, but I know that's the end of the story, But why? Why do we fall for that? Why does that happen? Because it happens every day and everything.
It's part of
Doesn't
human
take
nature in
intelligence.
some way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to wrap this thing up tonight, folks. I do want to, before we wrap up, I do want to reiterate, please give to the Dunn family. All donations can go to the PayPal account. It is scrolling down at the bottom of your screen. It is dreadfun@outlook.com. That's DREDFUNN @outlook.com. I will be posting those links on the Fortean Files like page, on the Fortean Slip like page, even though I'm tending not to use it anymore. I'll post everything on my own personal page. I will be shooting it out to a friend of mine, Sarah. She has a like page, some meme page. I can't remember the name of it. I like it, but I can't remember the name of it. And of course, Steve will shoot everything to Matt, and we'll get everything rocking and rolling, hopefully, so that we can start helping out Fred and Des. Like I said before, I'm not going to go into any details about it, but they really can use this right now. It'd be really helpful. So anything that you guys can give would be great. And we will be back next week without Steve at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday night. We will get into the Sarah Boone case. I do promise, Farmer Fred Smith, I will get into that next week. And I will finish more of the staircase stuff so that Katie and I can take a deep dive into that one. Until next Monday. Steve, you got anything more for us while you answer text messages on your iWatch?
It's just some bad family stuff going on. What do you want me to have for you? I don't have nothing.
All right. Steve doesn't have anything. Katie, you got anything before we take off this week?
Nope.
All right. On that note, be good to one another out there. And listen, again, dig deep for Fred. Not Farmer Fred. Fred Dunn. Dig deep, ladies and gentlemen. Good friend of the show. Good friend of mine. Good friend of Steve's. As Steve said, the silent fourth mic of the original Fortean Slip show. Definitely Fred Dunn. So, on that note, have a wonderful week, everybody. We'll see you on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye.